Let's have a lesson and discussion on this work. So this is number 14 from Fernando Soares, Opus 60. And follow the lesson for free. Many of you already have the sheet music, so you can just pick up the tips from the video for free. But if you're interested, I do have a sheet music edition of all 25 etudes in Opus 60, and there's a link for that in the description. In my edition, you can follow my fingerings, and there's videos for each study in the collection, in the opus. So number 14 is a very welcome piece. You know, it has a very specific mood in E minor, and it keeps that mood through the whole piece, doesn't switch away from that too much. So a couple of things you can do with this piece. Of course, it is very melody based, so you could practice the melody on its own. And just making sure that you kind of you can play that melody and have it phrased the way you want it, and then when you add in the other voices, you can just layer them in, but retain the quality of the melody. In terms of what this study or etude is for, of course, it's very melody based, but I think it's really a question of musical balance between the voices. You know, you really want that melody up nice and high. And then you want a certain amount of presence from the bass, just to cushion the sound and provide the harmony, of course. And then the inner voices, you know, you don't want to bring out too much. Although a lot of the inner voices kind of just work with the melody in this particular piece. But that's your kind of musical hierarchy and balance. And then just navigating some of the fingerings and bringing out that melody, I think that's your primary task in this work. And it's an andante, so, you know, not too fast. It's like a walking pace, kind of pushing through, which suits the mood of the piece very well. Besides that, I think we can just dive into the piece and just talk about some of the fingerings and things like that, but I think that's the basic idea. The phrasing in the piece is pretty straightforward. It's really just 4 measures at a time. And when you do that, you know, you can just ease into each one, and I'll show you about the non-chord tones that happen near the end. So when you have that A and the E at the end, the A is a non-chord tone. So you can accent that. It's like a spicy note that's on the beat. But then it resolves to the G, which is part of the E minor chord. So when you have that, it's like tension, release. And you don't want to bring out that G. Some students have a tendency to... But you really, just because they're at the end of the phrase, you don't want to do that. You can taper the end of the phrase and do non-chord tone and then a release. You know, you slip that G in there, and it sounds much, it really makes a difference in the phrasing. And that's pretty much every 4 measures. Not too much else to say. There's lots of 3-note chords. So there's lots of repeated fingers, mainly IM. So you throw the A in there, but then I just do repeated IMs for a lot of those chords, and the thumb for the down stroke. On the second ending, it's a little bit different. To measure 10. Some students have trouble with this 3/4, and many publications will do 2/1 that slides down. But it's good to get that fingering down. It's much more efficient because you can just keep the same hand position. Just make sure your hand is aligned. If it's misaligned, I can't even reach that. You see, I just can't reach the notes. But if my hand is aligned and my knuckles are parallel with the guitar, I can get that no problem. So just really focus on your alignment there. It's a busy little section, but nothing tricky about it. Just follow my fingering. Same thing with the fourth finger there. If I'm misaligned, I can't reach it. If I am aligned, I can reach it no problem. And then it starts again at measure 18. So in measure 23, because you were just using the 4 and then the 1, I use 3 and 2 on the A and the C in first position, just so you can hold on to that G sharp, while getting those. So using free fingers, available fingers is the concept, right? That's a little bit of a faster rhythm, so just A, I, M. You end up having to repeat lots of fingers in this piece, but whenever there's a faster passage with 8th notes or 16ths, then alternating is important, right? Lovely little piece in a minor key. Lots to work on just in terms of legato and musical balance. So it's just when you talk about soar and this classical era style, you want it to be somewhat refined, and with a lot of Opus 60 or a lot of soar etudes in general, unlike the Circassi etudes, which are pedagogically and technically a little bit more clear what the intention is of the etude, with these, I think that elegance really comes into it a lot. You're playing lots of different textures, but you're trying to keep things legato and the phrasing really nice while navigating all the things that he throws at you. So I hope you enjoy that. And like I said, if you're interested, you can get the sheet music edition. There's a link for that in the description.